Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Balaji Varaprasad, an intern at CyberSapiens specializing in SOC. And in this video, we are going to take a deep dive into a powerful tool called Wazuh. So my goal is to give you a clear, concise understanding of what Wazuh is, how it works, and why it is such a critical tool for modern cybersecurity. Let's quickly go through the contents of this session. We'll start with the basics: what is Wazuh, and explore why you might choose it. We'll then break its core architecture and its key security capabilities. Then we will also cover the power of integration and look at the most common use cases. And finally, I will walk you through the practical demonstration to show you how it works in the real world scenario. All right, so let's start with the first question: what exactly is Wazuh? Simply, it is a security platform that it is free and open source. This means it is available for anyone to use and it is supported by a large community. So what makes it so special is that it's combined two important security functions in one platform. That is XDR, which means action detection and response, and SIEM, which means security information and event management. So by putting these two together, Wazuh gives you a single tool for finding threats, seeing everything happening on your network, and responding when a security problem occurs. So there are many security tools available in the market. So why should you choose this? I believe there are four main reasons. First one is it is open source. This mean you don't have to worry about expensive contracts or license fee, which makes powerful security possible for any budget. Second, it's comprehensive. As I just mentioned before, it combines SIEM and XDR into one system, which makes your security setup much simpler. Third one, which is it is very scalable. You can use it to protect just one server, or you can use it to protect a very large company with computers in the cloud or in the office. And finally, it is compliance ready. It includes built-in settings that help you to meet major rules like PCI DSS, GDPR, HIPAA. So this can save you a lot of time and work. So how does it work all together? So let's follow the data through Wazuh's three main parts. It all starts with the Wazuh agent. This is the small program you install on your computers like servers, cloud machines, or laptops. Its main job is to collect security information and logs, and then data is sent to the Wazuh server. This is the central part where all the analysis happens. So the server studies the data it receives to find and detect threats. Finally, you can see everything on Wazuh dashboards. This is the website you can use to look at the security data, check on alerts, and manage the whole system. So Wazuh is powerful because of all these things it can do. So let's talk about the most important ones. It performs log analysis, which means it can collect and checks logs from many different places to find anything suspicious. It has file integrity monitoring or FIM. This is very important. It tells you if critical files are changed or with so it can be a clear sign of security problem. It does it also does vulnerability detection. It will actively scanning your computers for a known weakness that an attacker might use. Also, it does configuration assessment, which means checking your systems for common setup mistakes that could leave your system open to attack. And it also uses threat intelligence feeds to identify known bad actors or like harmful IP addresses or files. And a really useful feature is active response. This lets Wazuh automatically take action when the threat is found, like blocking an IP address immediately. So another great thing about Wazuh is it doesn't work alone. It becomes very powerful when you connect it with other tools. For example, you can send alerts directly to the chat program like Slack or instance response tools like PagerDuty. You can also add more information to your data by connecting to the sources like VirusTotal. And you can also automate your work by connecting it to the ticketing systems like the Hive. Okay, so we talked about the features, but what do people use it for in the real world? Well, the most common use is for threat detection and response. It is used to find and stop attacks like malware, ransomware, and other intrusions. Another big one is compliance. Compliance user use its automatic checks to help them follow strict rules like PCI DSS, GDPR, and HIPAA. And it is also a great for cloud security monitoring. You can use it for protect your cloud systems like AWS, Azure, and GCP by watching for security mistakes. So watching for your security mistakes, and finally it gives you endpoint security visibility, providing a very detailed view of what happening on all your servers and laptops. So these are other use cases of Wazuh. All right, that's enough theory. I think it is better if I just show you how it works. So let's go to my lab environment for a practical demonstration. So we'll look at two most common use cases or situations we'll practically do in my lab environment. First, we'll see how Wazuh can find live brute force attack and block it automatically. And second, we'll look at the file change alert and see how we can track down the alert and who made the change. All right, we are now in my lab environment where I will be conducting the practical demonstration. Let me quickly show you my setup. So here I'm using two virtual machines. You can see my Ubuntu server, which is Wazuh manager is running. So we can say this is the brain of our operation. Let me switch to my Kali machine. Here this is acting as our monitored endpoint, and it has the Wazuh agent installed on it. So before we dive into the Wazuh dashboard, I just want to quickly verify that all the servers are active. Here on manager, I will run the command since we are already a root user, so we don't need to sudo. As you can see, the service is active and running, which is perfect. Let me switch back to my Kali machine. So now let's check our agent on the Kali machine. I will run the same command. Status was raised. So we can see this confirms that our agent is successfully communicating with the manager. So let's go back to the Wazuh manager and open the web browser. So with our services confirmed, let's jump into the main web interface, that is Wazuh dashboard. So this is the central place where we will monitor and investigate everything. When you first log in, you will land into the main overview page. It gives you a great high level summary of security environment, showing things like total alerts over time, I mean last 24 hours, which and which agents are more active, um, the more and most common security alerts triggered. You can see me there are 128 medium security levels triggered and 358 low levels triggered. So let me just point out few key areas on the navigation menu. First, the agents tab. If I click here, you can see a list of connected agents. As expected, our Kali machine is active, which means it is communicating correct. So if we go back to the overview, we can see there are, as we discussed it before, endpoints in endpoint section. There are configuration assessment, malware detection, and file integrity monitoring. And in this session, there is threat hunting, vulnerability detection, and MITRE attack. And in security operation sections, there are this compliance that we can use. And when we see this is cloud security. So in short, the dashboard is our command center. Now that you are I hope you are familiar with this setup. Let's proceed with our first scenario, file integrity monitoring. Okay, for this we are going to look at file integrity monitoring or FIM. This is the critical feature for detecting unauthorized changes to important system files. I will first show you the configuration I have already set up, and then we'll see how quickly Wazuh can detect and unchanged on our monitor system. Right now, I'm on Wazuh Manager server to show you how the FIM is configured on our agent. I'm going to open the central configuration. As you can see, let me just copy this command to open this configuration file and let me paste it here. So as you can see here, I've already configured the syscheck block. This is the section, session that tells your agent what to monitor. I've instructed it to watch key system directories like /etc, bin, and importantly for this test, root directory. And options like real-time S and whose data S are also enabled, which tells the agent to report changes instantly and to identify the user who made the changes. This configuration is already active in a Kali agent, so we all set to test it. So let me save this file. So let me switch back to my Kali machine. I'm now, I'm now in my Kali machine, right, which is being monitored by a Wazuh agent. Let's simulate a minor security event. Imagine, uh, just imagine an attacker has gained the access and wants to create a new file in a sensitive location. As we enable root directory, so let's assume that. So here, I will use a simple touch command to create an empty file named my test file text. So root is the one of the directories which we are monitoring. Wazu should see this immediately. So this is the file I am creating. So as we can see, the file has been created. Let me switch back to my Wazu dashboard and open the Wazu dashboard. And we can go to active agents and this and open FIM alerts and set the timer to last 15 minutes and go to events to view the events. So we can see almost instantly we have new alert. As you can see, Wazu is reporting the file root the file that we added. It tells us the exact time and agent where it is happened. Let with the rule ID and rule level. Let me just open this so you can get the full details of the alert. This is precisely what we want and fast clear alert about the change in the critical directory. So we can see rule ID, rule level. Uh, if you scroll down, this is the file which we added. This is the hash value. This is the date and time that we added. Attacker added the file. Since so we can confirm that FIM is working perfectly fine, and we let's switch back to my Kali machine and same. Let's remove the added file and check whether the alert has been generated related to this also. So I just removed my test file as I added before. So let's go back to the Wazuh manager and check whether the alert has been generated or not. Let's refresh this dashboard. So we should see a new alert for this deletion and there it is. So the dashboard is now showing the exact same file was deleted. This gives us a complete audit trail of what happened. So again this agent name, so we can see deleted. The full details of the I mean performed action performed. This is the MITRE attack ID file technique, MITRE attack technique that we have used. So we can see rule description file has been deleted, manager name Ubuntu, location syscheck. This is the agent IP, IP address. So as you can see, Wazuh provided immediate alerts for both the creation and deletion of an unauthorized file based on our pre-existing configuration. I added the configuration. By default, it will be empty. So as our requirements, we should add the configuration in the file. So this shows how powerful FIM is for maintaining system integrity and spotting potential threats. Uh, let's perform another scenario. So for our second scenario, we'll move on from passive threat to more active one, detecting a brute force attack. So we'll see how we can use common rules in Wazuh to identify an alert on this common type of attack against SSH. So let me switch back to my Kali machine. This. So to detect a brute force attack, the Wazuh manager first needs to receive the right logs. Here on our Kali agent, I am showing you the agent configuration. Wait. So copy this to to save some time. I have copied before. As you can see, scroll down and locate the local file. So these are some default local files that which comes with Wazuh when we install the new Wazuh. So we can see I've already added this local file. We have to add this local file to detect the brute force attempt. This configuration tells the agent to read the system authentication log, var log auth dot log, and forward all of these events to the manager. This is the first critical step to making sure that data is being collected. So let me switch back to my Ubuntu machine. Wazuh manager. So let's go back to the Wazuh manager. And simply collecting logs isn't enough. We need to tell Wazuh how to analyze them to find an attack. Further, we need to use rules. So further, again, we need to open the local rules file, which is provided by Wazuh. So as you can see, I've already created a custom file rule here to avoid changing the default rules. This is the default rule which will come with the Wazuh. It is not mandatory to stay. We can remove if we want. So but uh, I didn't remove to show how it comes with the default Wazuh. So let's look at the logic inside that I have created custom. I defined the rule ID 113. This is our core brute force detection rule. Note these parameters. It has frequency of 6, and it has a time frame of 120 seconds. So this tells the Wazuh to trigger a high level alert only if it is sees 6 failed login attempts from the same IP source within a span of 2 minutes. This is how we distinguish between a simple password typo and a determined attack. This rule is already loaded and active. This uh, this rule triggers if attacker failed password one time. This rule triggers when the attacker failed password more than the 6 times. As we can see, have been set to 6, and the rule will be triggered if the attacker failed password in the span of 120 seconds. That means around 2 minutes. Okay, with our agent collecting the logs and our manager ready with the custom rules, let's play the part of an attacker. So let me switch to my attacker's machine. Here I am using another Kali machine as an attacker machine. Let me log in into my Kali machine. So here I am not using any tool. like Hydra, Medusa. Can use it if you want, but I am just logging as in doing SSH. So now I will try to SSH into a Kali machine repeatedly with the wrong password. I will need to do this at least 6 times to trigger the rule. So SSH, as you can see already, user at the rate my Wazuh agent IP address. Here you can see. So intentionally let's give the wrong password for more than 6 times. Again. So here you don't need to do it manually. You can use it. You can also use the for loop. I mean for loop command. So we have it's enough. We have done it more than 6 times. Let's go back to the Wazuh manager and let's check whether the rule have been triggered. So let's go try to entering. So we can see 37 authentication have failed. This is the top 5 alerts and rule groups. Top 5. This is the compliance related to compliance. This is the graph related to the alerts, and this is the alerts. If we, as I said before, I gave alert level 10, so it doesn't mentioned over here. If I gave alert level above 12, it will be mentioned here. So and let's see events. So and there it is. Let's you can see we have high priority alert level 10, and let's click on this to see the details. The description exactly what we want. Failed password for invalid user. uh, it clearly shows the attacker IP address and identifies our Kali machine as a target. This confirms that our custom rule worked perfectly and Wazuh successfully detected the attack pattern in real time. So this scenario demonstrates how flexible Wazuh is by combining both log collection from the agent with powerful and custom built rules on the manager. You can create very specific and effective detection for the threats that matter the most to your environment. So let's advance this and also do the active response for this. As I mentioned before, Wazuh also supports the active response, which automatically blocks the attacker's IP address. So, but in the as we can see, but in real world scenario, just getting alerts isn't enough. By the time a human analysis see this, an attacker could have already been succeeded. We need to respond instantly. For that, we need to use Wazuh. As I said before, we need to use Wazuh active response. So let me walk you through this how powerful feature works and what would happen next in this scenario at attack scenario. The logic for an active response is set up directly into the configuration files. It is a very direct cause and effective systems. Let me switch back to my Kali machine. Sorry. First on agent, we need to define the trigger. Uh, in the agent configuration file, I have been prepared active response block. Let me show you that. So let me open this file in the was agent. If we scroll down, we can see active response block. So we can see here This is the key part right here. It tells the agent if you are receiving alert from the manager uh, with the rule ID 1003 or brute force rule, then you must execute the firewall drop command. As you can see, it is also set as a timer out, meaning the block only last for 10 minutes. I will show you that the timer and the rule ID. Let's switch back to our Wazuh machine. I mean, Wazuh manager. Wazuh manager simply needs to know that what firewall drop command is, and the definition is already built in. Right here, it is configuration. So the manager is ready to send the command, and agent is ready to act on it. So here is what would happen if automatically that very moment the level 10 alert was generated. The Wazuh manager would see that alert from the rule. Let me show you that alert configuration. The same command that we should use in the manager also. If you scroll down, so as you can see, so this Wazuh manager would see the alert from the rule one as a this rule, and it would immediately send a command to the Kali agent telling it to execute the firewall drop and passing along the attacker source IP address. And then agent would receive this command and in the less than a second uh, add that IP address to his local firewall block list. So that the get back the result is that attacker is completely cut off. If I were to go back to this attacker's terminal and try to access a check-in, the connection would fail completely. It wouldn't even ask for a password. The request would just time out. The attacker's access would be served instantly. So, and that it is the true power of automated security platform like Wazuh. We go from detection to defense action in a second without any human intervention. This automated response is what can stop an attacker before it escalates, preventing a small intrusion from becoming a major breach. So let's go back to the presentation, and we can also perform, as I mentioned before, we can also perform vulnerability detection, and we can also see the MITRE attack framework, and also we can see malware detection and configuration assessment, as I showed before, file integrity monitoring, and other compliance and other cloud security. So let's switch back to our presentation. So, and that's bring us to the end of the demonstration and this technical overview of Wazuh. To quickly recap, we've seen that Wazuh is a powerful, scalable, and comprehensive open source security platform that can unify threat detection and response. So I hope this session provided a clear and valuable overview of platform of Wazuh. And thank you.